Most adults are embarrassed about their literacy gaps. Some have been living with self-doubt and fear of ridicule for much of their lives. They have a wealth of life experiences to draw from and a range of strategies to tackle everyday literacy challenges, but there is a stigma attached to adult literacy that remains. One of the biggest barriers for adults is caused by the shame they feel. Changing the way society views adult literacy could make a big difference. Be considerate with the way you talk about the issue. In this program, we will not be using the words illiterate or illiteracy. We won't refer to adults as having a reading disability. Prefer to use terms such as facing literacy challenges, describing needs as gaps, so learners have literacy gaps, and taking the responsibility of the individual and acknowledging that some people have unmet literacy needs. We are professionals, so amongst each other, we use the language of the Australian Core Skills Framework, or the ACSF. In our profession, we use the ACSF to talk about literacy skills and about reading and writing tasks, and also when we describe learners. So we use the ACSF levels to describe people when we talk to each other. We might talk about the support people need, and this comes from the performance variables in the ACSF. At pre-level, the adult learner works with an expert or mentor with highly structured support. Modelling is provided and initiated by the expert. The support levels vary for each ACSF level, and at ACSF 5, adults are autonomous learners who access and evaluate support from a broad range of sources. We use the ACSF performance variables to talk about tasks, the things we need to read and write. They are set in a context. Contexts range from pre-level, where they are extremely familiar, extremely concrete and immediate, and in an extremely restricted range, through to level 5, where there's a broad range of contexts. Things we need to read and write have a text complexity. They can range from pre-level, where complexity is extremely simple and consists of short texts with an extremely explicit purpose and extremely limited and personally relevant vocabulary, through to level 5, where texts are highly complex with highly embedded information and highly specialized language and symbolism. Things we need to read and write also have a task complexity, and they can range from pre-level, where there are concrete steps of a single step with processes such as copying, naming, and matching, through to level 5, where tasks are sophisticated and require conceptualization, organization, and analysis, with processes such as synthesizing, critically reflecting, evaluating, and recommending. So you see through these performance variables in the ACSF that we have the language to discuss literacy. Taking every opportunity to talk about adult literacy and sharing the issues and possible solutions is something I encourage you all to do. If we can change the attitude of just one person by talking about reducing the stigma and shame we cause as a society when we judge adults experiencing literacy challenges, there could be a ripple effect. Perhaps that one person goes on to support or encourage another person who has some amazing things to share, but has not yet found their voice, and perhaps their voice is the one that matters. No action is too small. Each time we remind someone to use kinder or more respectful words, to pay attention to the message and not the surface features, and push back on unnecessarily complex and wordy forms and texts, we have the potential to make the world a readable place for all of us. And by using the words of the ACSF, we come across as professionals.